Hello everyone, and welcome to Twitch Tales episode 98. Where did we leave off in episode 97? Oh boy! Well, if you are watching this in the future and you're binge watching all of them back to back, you won't have had to put up with having to wait 2 full weeks between the way that we ended last episode and this episode. So just a moment of silence and respect for all of the people who had to watch this live and then wait to see what happens in today's episode. In episode 97, just to recap, Apus is currently fighting demons as part of a huge demon war situation. Apus has put together a bit of a SWAT team, a bit of a crack team of demon fighters, including a new Dragonborn ally called Fang, a demon fighting shadow monk called Minnie, a werefox friend of theirs called Mosh, and then somewhat reluctantly they were forced to bring along a couple of goblins from the Hobgoblin army. You are reluctantly forced into an alliance with the Hobgoblins currently, and the Hobgoblins were not okay with you going alone without some of their people to keep a track and keep watch. So they sent with you a goblin calling himself Apus. Apus is a goblin that is seemingly stealing all of your stories and is pretending to be you and riding on your coattails, as it were. And they sent along a goblin calling himself Kraak, who was jacked, swole-ass goblin that has been lifting weights and doing bicep curls. With obviously a lot of battle experience because he had broken teeth and a limping leg on a prosthetic leg, and they went with you for part of this crack team of demon fighters. The rest of your allies, various different elements of the Hobgoblin army and the more human or elven facing army. They went on onto their area of the mission by attacking various different outposts of demons or closing down smaller demon portals. The reason you knew where all of these demon portals were was that you made a reluctant deal with another fiend called an Arcanoloth, part of the Yugoloth family of fiends. And if what he was saying could be believed, he's not pleased with the demon war any more than you are and would much prefer the demons return to their usual duties of fighting the devils so that he can continue to benefit from warmongering and profiteering, as is the Yugoloth's way. So he's helping you to end the demon incursion into the mortal plane so that they will go back home and he can continue profiting. That's his explicit benefit anyway. Whether or not that's true is yet to be seen. He gave you some information about the demons and their whereabouts, and you are using that to try and get behind enemy lines. At this point, you are basically not quite behind enemy lines, as it were. You are on the enemy lines, and you have encountered a huge, marauding, roaming band of gnolls, a warband of gnolls. Gnolls are hyena people, and they are vicious and bloodthirsty and savage. And you really don't want to be seen by them because there's over 70 of them. From a quick head count you did. You cast Pass Without a Trace on yourself and your companions. You also had Minnie, the Shadow Monk, cast Silence on the least stealthy of you, the shivering and frightened Apus, who is a little bit off to your right back shoulder. And then you and Kraak hid in the same bush, sort of shoulder to shoulder, waiting for these gnolls to pass. The idea being, they pass, you kind of go into their wake and you follow them along until you can get closer and closer to the mountain, which is your end goal, where you can close the final portal. However, as they are passing you, as they are within about 100 feet of you and still passing perpendicular direction, you heard Kraak start to talk to you about being outnumbered and the dangers of being outnumbered. And have you, Apus, ever been in a situation where you were outnumbered by the enemy and you still prevailed? And you said, yeah, I've been in situations, don't worry. And Raak said, "Oh, because I've been in a situation where I was severely outnumbering the enemy, and they still kicked our ass. They came into my goblin camp and they killed all of my family and my bosses, and then they broke my leg with a bear trap, and they punched my teeth in, and they left me tied to a tree." And as they were talking, you realize, oh god, they're talking about me. Only a few months ago, I did all of those things. This is the goblin that I left for dead. And as you come to that realization, you feel a knife slip between your ribs. And he says, "Call out for help now, I dare you." And that's where we ended off. So we are going to start today's episode with rolling for damage. And then, because you are concentrating on Pass Without a Trace, we are going to roll for a concentration check. If you drop concentration on Pass Without a Trace, all of your and your respective allies' stealth scores reduce by 10, and I think the lowest of them was a 21. So if you drop concentration, your stealths become a range between 11 and 20 something. And basically the gnolls then have to use their passive perception to see if they would see you or hear you in that situation. And if they do, there's danger of a gigantic fight. Right now you are currently hidden, but if you drop Pass Without a Trace, you may not be. So because this guy got the drop on you, I have deemed that it is an automatic critical hit on you. I talked at the end of the last session about I may even add some sneak attack like dice onto this damage. However, I've decided in the meantime that I'm not going to do so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use it as a regular damage attack, which is usually just a d4. So I'm going to max that out because it's a crit, so you get 4 plus his modifier. He's using strength for this, which is a +4. So he's got 8 damage, and then rolling another d4 on top of that. So the maximum he can do is 12 damage. So your concentration check will be a 10. However, what I'm going to do in lieu of the extra damage of the sneak attack is I'm going to have the chance of an additional effect. There is a chance that he has nicked a lung by stabbing you in the back between your ribs here. And I will roll a second attack for him. It'll still apply to the same attack. He's not getting 2 attacks on you, he's just getting the 1. But I'm going to take the first roll as a nat 20, and then I'm going to roll again to see if he hits your armor class a second time. Kind of like you can think of it like the confirming a crit kind of things in Pathfinder, where you roll and then you roll again to see if you hit the armor class a second time. If he hits your armor class the second time, then he has nicked a lung, and you are going to have an additional effect, which is things that might happen when you have a stabbed lung, essentially. You're going to have difficulty on concentration checks and such to that respect. So, he's doing 8 plus a d4. Thankfully, it's just a 1. So, we're going to start with, you take 9 damage. 9 off of 85 takes you to 76. You're on 76 of 85 damage, and then I'm going to roll an attack to see if he nicks your lung with this dagger as he stabs you in the back. Can I say ouch preemptively? You absolutely can. Dice cam for his not for his rolls. You don't get to see behind the camera dice rolls. That is a 16 on the dice plus his modifier, so he hits your armor class of 15, which means that not only does he take you take that 9 damage, but that 9 damage was pretty directed. It gets right between, let's say, I can't remember which numbers the ribs are actually, so let's not say. But it goes between some of the ribs at the back, and it nicks the bottom lobe of your left lung. What that means for you, Apus, is that you are going to. It's basically a cold shot. Yes, was what I was doing. So he is going to cause you the damage you've taken, and you are going to have difficulty in a lot of different checks and saves and such, including concentration. Your concentration checks. Your speed is going to be halved while you have while you have lung damage. Your saving throws that make sense to having this lung damage is going to be at disadvantage as well. And attack rolls that require your strength, so pulling a bow definitely will have a disadvantage because obviously you're pulling back on a side of your body that is severely damaged. However, magical healing will negate this effect. You can choose to, if you do anything magical healing wise, like cure wounds for instance, you will be able to negate the healing points that you get in order to heal the lung specifically. It won't heal your hit points, but it will heal the lingering injury of your lung. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Dwarf lungs are arranged differently. Nothing happens. Yeah, dwarves have 7 lungs. There's just redundancy built into them, so it doesn't even bother. Okay. So, welcome in, everybody. This is what we're doing. We're going to take you over to the battle page. Look at this cool overlay. What? Awesome. We're going to open up the map. This is a little overview of what you are, where you are, what's going on for you. Let me show you. Let me show you your little map and explain it. This is your werefox friend, Mosh. He is currently looking outwards to the top because out this way is where the gnolls are. This is your dragonborn friend, Fang, and his companion, the shadow monk, Minnie, the little fairy shadow monk. So these are your allies in green up here. This is Apus in yellow because you weren't sure if he is an ally or not, if he's actually on Kraak's side or if he's not, so he's a yellow. Mel is your little green ally here, who is your giant bee companion. She's resting on your backpack at the moment, off to your right shoulder. Apis, this is you right in the center of the Pass Without a Trace bubble. So this 30-foot range of the Pass Without a Trace is currently keeping Mosh, Fang, Minnie, Apis, and all of you with a +10 stealth. But if you drop it, all of those people in that range do not get their +10 stealth anymore. Apus, meanwhile, is in the center of a silence ring. So this white ring indicates the area of silence that is around them. And then Kraak is in red because obviously he seems to be your hostile enemy at this point. Approximate scale. This is a 30-foot radius. This is a 20-foot radius. That should give you what you need. Where are the gnolls? 100 feet up here. So what's that? 30, another 15. 45, so another 55 foot off the top of this map from where you can see it-ish, give or take. Obviously there's about 70 of them, so there's a lot. They're not walking in single file at exactly 100 feet away. There's a range of them from anywhere between like 90 feet to 120 feet-ish, probably. Mel must know if we're stabbed if she's on her back. Yeah, so Mel is on your backpack with her head kind of over here on your shoulder. He just stabbed you in this shoulder, so Mel would be aware of it with her compound eyes. She'd be like, what's going on over here? Mel's definitely aware of what's going on. Whether the other ones are aware of what's going on or not, you're not sure. Apus is in silence, so therefore deafened, so is not hearing anything that's going on, but is on an angle where they would be able to see it. So maybe Apus has seen it, maybe not. You'll have to find out. We're 10 feet from the zone of silence? Correct, you are. Alright, so we are going to, in response to taking that damage, we're going to turn on the dice cam. Boop, like this. We're going to shore it up a little bit. There we go. You'll see that I've zoomed it out so that I can see all of the dice cam for once. And we're going to roll your dice. I'll give you because it's a pretty critical roll. I will ask you. Apis has 2 sets of dice. We've got a nice green sparkly one and a translucent gemstoney one. Which one do you want to use for this critical roll? The green ones, the green ones, the green ones, the gem ones, the gem ones, the green ones, the sparkly ones, the sparkly ones. Alright, we're going to roll the sparkly green one. Test it and see which one rolls higher. Okay, here we go. Green one. Green one gets his forest bonus. You are in a forest, so you'd get forest bonus anyway if it applied. Alright, here we go. Boom. That is a 12. A 12 is a success. However, you got a stabbed lung. You have to roll with disadvantage. Boom! 10. Okay, 10. 10 plus your Constitution save is a success. So you take you take a stab in the back. You have a sharp intake of breath as the pain hits you. But with the knife between your ribs, you manage to focus on don't let the spell drop, don't let the spell drop, don't let the spell drop, and you manage to just succeed. I will have you go into initiative, however. Bum ba da bum 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 bum. Initiative order for you. Let's go. That is a 15 for you, and for Mel, that is a miss the tray. So for Mel, that is an 18, and then for your allies, we'll go with that one for your allies as a 12. Okay, so it's going to be 18, 15, 12. That is Mel first. And let me go to find where the... There you go. The militia isn't active yet, so let me get rid of the enemies and things. Alright, so we've got Mel on an 18 plus modifier. We've got Apus on a 15 plus modifier. Ooh, not bad. We've got Kraak on in here, 13 plus modifier. And then you've got your allies. Any of your allies faster than Kraak by more than one? Let's see. Fang, Mini would be faster, so we'll go with Mini in here as ally number 1. And then we've got all the rest of them like this. And currently, the gnolls are not alerted to your presence. The gnolls are passing by. Can we move towards them and still be in the radius? Towards whom? Mel's not smart. She's probably just going to jump on the guy and draw attention. Please, Mel, keep quiet. Can't Kraak just not? Immobilized him with our rope if we can get to it. That might be an option, yeah. Alright, so firstly, Mel is up, and then Apus is up. Because of the dire nature of the situation, I'm not going to put a single person in charge of this, because I don't want that person getting hate if they do something that ends up not being an optimal choice. So we're going to work together on this first round of combat to decide what Apus is going to do. And then from this point onwards, then we'll probably go back to the usual style of running combats. So while I think what Mel's going to do, you think what Apus is going to do. You get stabbed in the back. It was... Do I want to give this as a surprise round? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the new surprise rules of the new PHB that's coming out. It is kind of addressed and fixed a lot of the problems that come with the surprised condition. So nowadays, on the new PHB that's coming out end of this year, they've changed surprise to just be basically you have disadvantage on your initiative rolls. So I'm going to do that one. So you, instead of your 15, I'm going to roll with disadvantage and get a 9. So your 9 actually drops you down in the initiative order. Mel gets a 15 instead of an 18, so Mel's still going to go pretty high. Your allies are definitely surprised. They're probably not even on the board for most of it, but they get a 7. So how does that change things? Enemy got a 13 plus modifiers, so that's actually going to change them up the board. You're going to get down with a 9, but they're still going to go behind Mel. That makes more sense. And because the allies are together now, I'll just put them all as 1. Allies. Cool. Mel, enemy, Apus, and then allies. That makes sense to me, I think. I want Mel to put this annoyance to sleep. Can Mel put him to sleep? Mel can certainly try to put him to sleep. What would Mel do? Let's think. She sees you getting stabbed. What the hell? You have previously told Mel don't try to put someone to sleep until you give her the signal to do so. And she is going to abide by that. So she's not going to use the soporific spores. she could summon her militia. I think that's what she would do. Mel's first port of call when danger happens is to summon the militia. So that's what she's going to do with her action. She's going to summon the militia. The militia are a swarm of biting, flying bugs and insects and bees and stinging bugs and things. So I'm going to roll a stealth roll for the bees with disadvantage because they are flying, buzzing insects, but they are within the pass without a trace and they are covering Kraak. So the stealth with disadvantage was a 14 on one die and a 2 on the other. So 2 plus the stealth. They are not proficient in stealth, but the militia is proficient in. It has a decent dexterity. I think it uses her stats for that. So that is a 6. 6 plus the 10 for pass without a trace is 16. It is nullified. The 16 is quietened significantly because of the pass without a trace, and thankfully from 100 feet away, with the roaring thunder of the sounds of the storm that is happening at the moment, 16 is hopefully good enough to not draw any attention from the gnolls. That is Mel's turn. She is not got any bonus actions or anything that makes sense to use right now, but you hear her say,
"What is happening? Apus, why does they stab you?"
She's confused. It is then Kraak's turn. What does Kraak want to do now? Okay. Just knifed you in. Is going to... I think I know what Kraak's going to do. Yeah, Kraak is going to leave the dagger in your side. Kraak is going to reach up and grab the back of your hair and just kind of pull your head back, and then with the left hand bring round a huge I was going to say roundhouse, that's not right. A left hook. He's going to bring around a left hook and try and smash you in the mouth because he wants to break your teeth. Pulls your hair back and says, "I wouldn't want you yelling." And he's going to smash you in the mouth, or he's going to try to smash mouth. Let's see. Any advantage for any reason? No, no advantage. But he does have a big fist. This is a cold shot cake ladder, which will increase your armor class against the attack. Because if he is successful in hitting you with this attack, you're going to have difficulty speaking verbal components of spells and such. Hey now, we're an all-star. Get our game on, let's go. Kraak chooses violence. Oh yeah, he's going to bite the hand that bleeds you. Nice. Do healing spells grow back teeth? They potentially could. Let's see, what's he going to do? It's just a regular attack. He can't add anything to this. Yeah, just regular attack. All right, so cold shot. So he needs to hit a higher armor class than your 15. You could. Does this number hit a 15? Does this number here? This. I don't know if you can quite see that 20 there. Can you hit? Can he hit you with a 20 on the? I think a 20 hits the 15 with a cold shot. So so that nat 20 is gonna to smash you in the face. Would you? I think I've used this in this way before. Would you like to use your hero point for the day to force me to reroll that attack, or do you want to just take the attack, take the damage that comes with it? It's a unarmed strike, so it's not going to be a hell of a lot of damage. But again, it's damage against your concentration check. And it gives you disadvantage on verbal components of your spells and things. So you get 1 hero point for the session. Do you want to use it now to force me to reroll? It seems like the yeses are having it here. Okay, the yeses are having it. The knives start coming and they don't start coming. Smashed in the teeth and I hit the ground running. Love it. Oh, the nose is starting to come in again. The nose are coming in, but the yeses still have it. The yeses still have it for sure. All right. With a use of the hero point, you heroically try to dodge your face to the side to turn that to 20. Normally, So normally in my games, you can use a hero point to turn a crit into a regular hit, or you can turn a hit into a miss. I think because you are a solo player and you're in such a dangerous situation, I will allow the hero point to just cause it to force me to reroll altogether. Onto the desk. I rerolled the nat 20 into a nat 1. Nat 20 into a nat 1. Perfect use of the hero point. He goes around with a huge swinging fist, and instead you kind of dodge to the side, and it glancing blow hits across you, doesn't hit your chin, doesn't hurt you properly, misses entirely, maybe catches on your armor or something, on the collarbone. Does not get an attack on you with that. So let's see. I guess his second attack is to. Does he just grapple you? No, tell you what he's going to do. He's going to. So he just missed with that. He's already geared up. He's already turned to the right. So he's going to use that twisted momentum to bring up his right knee, and try and drive his right knee into the hilt of the dagger that is into your side, your lung. So he's going to attack the dagger to push the dagger further into your guts. But thankfully he misses with a total of 8, I think. He misses with an 8. So he hits you with his knee, but doesn't hit the dagger. Doesn't hit you strong enough to cause you damage. That is, I think, Kraak's whole turn. He has got a bonus action. He doesn't want to use that yet. He's covered in Mel's militia. He doesn't go anywhere, so they don't get an attack on him. Okay. We didn't actually have Mel's militia take an attack when they were summoned, so Mel's militia is going to take an attack now. They're going to try and bite and sting and what have you. They actually get him, and they do. Where's the D4? There it is. They managed to hit him. Ugh, garbage. They managed to hit him for 4 points of damage. Where is my pen? There it is. 4 points of damage to Kraak. That is Mel, the militia, and Kraak. Apus, it is now your turn. What do you want to do, Apus? Isn't it 2 swarms of militia? Yeah, but only one of them can attack him at once. The other ones are just kind of hanging out at the moment with no target to go for. Magic rope to ironically tie him up again? That would be pretty funny. Bitey, stingy friends to the rescue. We've got an arrow in our hand. Misty step behind him. Hand to his mouth. Arrow to his throat. And whisper, shh. That could work. Remove the dagger. Misty step is the good idea. Action surge. Bring us much into this turn as possible. Action surge could be a good use to use it. He's looking kind of dumb when he went and smashed his thumb as he tried to demolish our teeth. This is going. I love that. We're going to end up with a whole song by the end of it. I love it. Arrow of entanglement or rope to immobilize him and shut him up. Whisper hoarsely, Mel, sleep him. 2 militia swarms, us and Mel isn't yet disadvantage anyway, being surrounded. No, surrounded doesn't give them disadvantage, gives you advantage on attacks. And the militia don't count because they're swarms. They're bugs. We counter grapple, stop him yelling. We tell Mel to make him sleep. Misty step behind him. Use action surge so we can also second wind. You could action surge and use a bonus as an action if you want, yeah. If you misty step anywhere, if you misty step anywhere that you drop concentration, you drop the range on at least one of your allies. You could theoretically move like 5 feet this way. Can you see where I'm? Yeah, you can see where I'm pointing. You could theoretically move 5 feet this way if you want, which would keep all 4 of your allies in, or 5 of your allies in the radius. But if you misty stepped behind him over here, then Fang and Minnie would no longer be in the Pass Without a Trace. Because it might come up, could somebody potentially tell me what each of these people rolled as their stealth? Because that was one of the things I intended to do with my my prep today and forgot to do it. Ran out of time and forgot. Is second wind magical healing? I've never seen it as magical healing, no, because it's more about the fighter having the stamina to keep pushing on. So I've never thought of I've thought of second wind as being regular healing in the same way that if you use a healer's kit to heal someone's wounds. Second wind, is it magical? No, I'm going to say that second wind wouldn't fix your lung situation. Cure wounds would, healing potions would, but second wind would not. Mini is stealthy AF, Fang less so, but he might be fine. Yeah, Mini is stealthy, very stealthy. Apus rolled in that one, I remember that much, and then he rolled again with advantage because of the silence, and rolled like a 10 or something, I think. Maybe a 15. Have we read any bird signals to tell allies there's an issue? No, we did not. I don't want to use a spell slot if we don't have to. Yeah, because your Misty Step will use the last of your second level spell slots. We got second wind from Flonenshale. You got the ability to do so, but it's not a magical effect. Can we alert to allies for help without alerting the gnolls? If you can think of a way to do so, yeah. Your allies are a lot closer than the gnolls are. How many attackers would we need for Kraak to have disadvantage? We have us, Mel, 2 swarms. Is that enough? The swarms I don't feel count towards the surrounded condition because they're literally surrounding him. They don't count towards surrounded because they're surrounding him. Doesn't make sense. But the reason I don't feel like they make sense is that because they're hindering you as much as they're hindering him, because they're all over him, they're surrounding him. So it's you're fighting him through a swarm of bugs, so they're just as much hindrance to you as they are to him. So I feel like it would have to be you, Mel. Also, Mel isn't a size category medium; that she's small, so she only counts as a half. If Minnie came over to attack him, maybe I'd allow that to be surrounded. If any one of the others came over to attack him, I'd allow that. But at the moment, you wouldn't have advantage on any attacks. Pull out the dagger, action surge to cure wounds to heal the lung, and then attack with the dagger. Could do that if you want, yeah. Are we grappled? He didn't make an attack to technically grapple you, so no. If we run straight east, it will give us pass without trace on Fang, Mini, and Apus, then we can heal and get Mini's attention. You could do that if you want. We need to hit Kraak and move out of his range so we can get good footing for the fight. He'd get an attack of opportunity if he bolted into the silence cloud. Yes, if you leave his range, he'll definitely attack you. They have counted for surrounded in the past. Maybe I don't know. I just kind of feel in this situation, for whatever reason, they don't feel like they would count towards it. But maybe circumstances will change. Mini got a 29, 10 plus 9 plus pass without a trace. Thank you for checking, Fancy. So Mini got a 29, so we'll have a 19 if the pass without trace drops. How much damage, if any, would we get by pulling the dagger out? I'd probably allow you a dexterity check to see if you can pull it out safely, and if you can, then no damage, and if you can't, then a d4 probably. We could howl like a werewolf, which might alert allies to danger, but the enemies would avoid it. The enemies wouldn't avoid that shit. They are savage beasts that look to ravage and tear apart anything that they can. Removing sharp objects from your body like that is not generally a good idea. If you're about to cure yourself, then maybe. If we don't want to Misty Step, Apus needs to get out of melee with this Hulk, though. Tell Mel to go alert Fang. Okay, so I'm starting to collate the thing. Collate? Collate. I'm starting to collate the things that you are wanting to do. Mosh got a 15 plus stealth plus pass without a trace. Okay. So Mosh is okay stealth. So Mini and Mosh pretty high up there. What was Fang's stealth? I'll put it to a poll in a second, Sly. I'm just kind of collating what the general vibes are so that I know what options to put into the poll. Fang got a 7 plus pot. Oh, okay, so if Fang, who is here, drops pass without a trace, if you teleport behind Kraak, for instance, or go anywhere in this direction, then Fang's stealth will drop down to an 11. I definitely remembered someone got a 21. It must have been Fang. Okay, let's start adding some polls then. Now that I've got an idea of what people are saying. So, question: what is the instinctive thing to do? What to do? Tell you what. First question is: do we use our action surge? We don't need a poll for that. We can just use yes and no's, up and down emotes. Do you want to use your action surge? You only get one action surge before having a short rest again, but it gives you 2 actions this round instead of 1 action. Do you want to use your action surge? Okay, yes, 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 yes. Overwhelming yes. With 1 no. Okay, but everybody else saying yes. So we are going to use our action surge to give us 2 actions this round. Then you have 2 actions to decide what to do. You need to... So some of the main options that seem to be coming up are pull out the dagger and cure wounds on yourself to remove the lung disadvantage. Attack him. Just straight up attack him. Try and slit his throat. Try and silence him in some way. Get out of his range. Like, just leave. Just run away or Misty Step. You could disengage. There's a few different options here. You could Hunter's Mark him, but doing so would take your bonus action. I always allow your bonus action to be upgraded to an action, so you can, if you do something as a bonus action, and you don't have another bonus action left, but you want to do another bonus action thing, you can use one of your actions to do one of your bonus actions instead, because it's putting a smaller, quicker action into a larger slot, which I think is fine to do, but not the other way around. So, for instance, if you wanted to both Second Wind as your bonus action, and down a healing potion as your bonus action, and Misty Step as your bonus action, you could do all 3 of those things with your 2 actions and your bonus action. What is the check for the bowler or the entangling arrow? Any remember? If you shoot him and hit him with your entangling arrow, it deals the damage of a regular arrow, and then after the damage is dealt, he rolls a strength saving throw and sees if he can break out of it. Disengage, move to your allies, and heal sounds like a good plan. The sleep arrow, just to remind you as well how that one works. Sleep arrow is you hit him, you deal the regular damage of your sleep arrow, and then after the damage is all concluded, the arrow casts the sleep spell on him, which is 5d8, and then you minus off his hit points, and if there's still points left over of sleep, he goes to sleep. Does entangling apply if we stab him with it? Yes, you could stab him with it. It would turn the arrow's damage down to a d4, just a improvised weapon damage, and then it would cast the sleep or entanglement as appropriate. Okay, so I'm gonna make a poll now, and I'm gonna put some general ideas of first action ? First action: attack, disengage, cast a spell, cast a spell on him, I'll say, and then cure self. Oh, Misty Step. Those are the first things. Attack, disengage, cast a spell on him, cure self, or Misty Step. I think those are the most obvious options and choices. We will go with that as the poll. You've got 1 minute to decide. It should be live for you now. If you want to refresh the page, make sure you can see it. Vote for it. Attack, disengage, cast a spell on him, cure self, or Misty Step. Do you have to spend an action to remove the dagger? No, that'll be part of just free action object interact. Need to get inside that silence bubble. It's the only thing that will properly stop him from shouting out. Quite probably, yeah. Healing seems like the smartest one, maybe. We've got a big majority of people saying healing at the moment. Well, two-thirds majority currently, but some people still wanting to attack, disengage, or Misty Step out. If we Misty Step, we'll no longer have a spell slot to cast Pass Without a Trace. That is correct, yep. Alright, with 67% of the vote, we decide for our first action to be Cure Wounds on ourselves to try and get... You can feel, holy shit, I think... In this moment, you can start to like taste some blood as some blood is coming into your lungs, and then almost aerosolizing as you're breathing, and you're starting to taste like particles of the blood coming up the back of your mouth. You realize what's happened. Holy shit, I think this guy stabbed me in the lung. And you realize I can't call out for help because I'm in such danger. You instinctively reach around, you grab the knife. I'm going to have you, because you are reaching around your own back to grab a knife that's in your backside ribs, and you're trying to carefully remove that knife without causing further damage, I'm going to have you make a dexterity check, and it's going to be at disadvantage. So I'm going to take both of Apus's dice, and I'm going to roll you a dexterity check with disadvantage. You do have decent dexterity. That's a 5 and a 13. So with a 5 plus your dexterity of 3, any of your proficiencies make sense here. Animal handling, stealth, survival, perception, athletics. No. Forest bonus. Yeah, none of those seem to apply, I'd say. So just a plus 3 to your 5. That is an 8. 8, unfortunately, is not very dexterous. You slide the knife out, and you are going to take a further d4 damage. If Apus ever wears a bra, it would be easy to reach, easiest spy to reach around, yeah. Alright, this is a... That was cocked. It's quite a feat to cock a d4. It landed half adjacent to my phone. That is just 1 point of damage, so not a lot in the face of damage. You're taken from 76 down to 75. However, any points of damage makes you make a concentration check with disadvantage. So you are concentrating on the Pass Without a Trace with disadvantage. That is going to be an 18 or a 15. All right, you are still concentrating on the spell. You're thinking, please. Stick around. Concentrate. You pull the knife out of your back. You drop it to the ground so that you've got your hand out of the way and free to heal yourself up. You are going to use Cure Wounds on yourself. I assume just first level makes sense because you're not really going for the hit points. You're going for the healing the lung, right? You use Cure Wounds and you focus your magic in a very intense, very focused area, very specialized healing. You, instead of curing the wound on top of the surface, you're thinking about the lung inside and the deep tissue damage that was done, and you feel the breathing get a little easier. You have used your action and your first of your spells to remove the damage, the disadvantages that have come from having a damaged lung there. Is Cure Wounds a verbal spell? I believe it is. I'll say that the way that verbal spell component volume works in my games is that it has to be loud enough to be heard from 30 feet away. The gnolls are 100 feet away and you're within a Pass Without a Trace, so the verbal component of this particular spell wasn't loud enough to become an issue for the gnolls. That was your first action. You have a little bit of damage to you still. You have one action left. You've got your movement left, and you've got your bonus action left. Well, what our allies have heard, they are about 30 feet away, and they are with... so yes, normally, but you are within a Pass Without a Trace, so I'm going to say no, they did not. So none of your allies heard it. I mean, did having a damaged lung while casting the spell impact us? Ah, that's a good point. That is a very good point. Maybe. Let me just roll something here real quick. Yes, it potentially could then. Okay, potentially could. So I'm going to have you make a... What would this be? It's almost a performance check to see if you can... Yeah, I think it's performance. You're going to make a performance check to see if you can perform the verbal component of the spell well, like as you're focusing on it while you're unable to catch your breath really well. Oops, I'm going to not even hit the dice tray. Performance check of 5 plus your charisma of 1. That is a 6. So yes, the spell has a chance of going awry here. If you want to re-roll that 5 with a horseshoe, you can. Otherwise, I'm going to say that there is a 10% chance that the spell goes wrong, and I'm going to roll you a 10% chance of the Cure Wounds spell not working as intended. Do you want to take that 10% chance and in order of keeping your horseshoe and being okay with that, or do you want to nullify the risk and just use your horseshoe to reroll? 10% is pretty low. I think we should risk it. Just risk it. Do we want to risk it? Yes or no? Yes, yes. Ready for the risk? Risk it, risk it, risk it. Okay. So there is a 10% chance that you just straight up drop the Cure Wounds, essentially. Here we go. That is a 55, so you're fine. So the verbal component does get a little bit garbled as you are trying your best to enunciate it as you Cure Wounds into yourself. It's a little bit harder to say the right tone with the right pitch, but you manage to get it out clear enough that the spell goes off and your lung is healed. Thank you for the reminder on that, Cake Ladder. Okay. Better to reroll that 10% dice than the d20. That's probably smart, true, Dave. Yeah. Okay, now you've got your action, your bonus action, and your movement. You've got pretty much a whole turn now. What do you want to do with it now? Do you want to Misty Step? Do you want to attack? That sort of stuff. We can put it to another poll. I just want to see if anybody's opinions have changed. If we're getting a clear consensus now, we can attack. We can tell Mel to put him to sleep. Let's do that one first because it's a pretty binary choice. Do we want to tell Mel to try the sleep spores on Kraak? Yes or no? Do we want to tell Mel to try sleep Kraak? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. We're too close. She won't get to do it until her next turn though, so you can tell her to sleep and then run. Oh, there's a lot more no's coming in now. We are right next to him. Talking to Mel's a free action, yes, but we are right next to him, and in order to fly, she would have to fly, which reduces her stealth. Okay, I'm gonna have to put this to a poll. It's not as clear cut as it was before. Tell Mel to sleep him, not sleep with him. Yes or no. Then obviously you can tell her, put him to sleep when I'm not next to him. You can add the qualifiers on that. Sleep when we're clear. Mel's stealth definitely will go down if she flies. She will also put her militia to sleep, most likely. Mel flying up and dropping a big spore cloud could easily attract the Null's attention. Could be. Your pass without a trace extends 30 feet in all directions, as in 30 feet up as well, so she could be above you, but if you've left the melee range, you're no longer necessarily in 30 feet of him. What a tricky situation you're in. What a tricky situation to navigate with 100 people. Think how difficult this would be when you were just, if you're the only person doing it, doing the game and going like, oh god, what do I do? There's so much that could go wrong. Oh, this could barely have been closer. With 51% of the vote. This is why I encourage you all to vote. There are plenty more people watching than there are voting, and it literally they could have been swayed by one person. But with 51% of the vote, Apus is torn right down the middle and decides not to tell Mel, not to give Mel the order to try and put him to sleep. So you've got your movement, your bonus, your action. You're not going to tell Mel to try and put him to sleep. What do you want to do still? A bee flying risks alerting the gnolls 100 feet away, but our spellcasting doesn't alert our friends 30 feet away. I'm saying there's risks. I didn't say it would do it, but it would risk it. Especially if she had to fly out of your pass without a trace in order to do so. Could intimidate him with his own dagger. You guys that wanted to talk to him, this is your only shot. Stab him with the entanglement arrow, disengage, move towards the allies, grapple a goblin, drag him into the zone of silence. Disengage, get the fuck out. Get him with the sleep arrow. Okay, I've got an idea of the ideas that are coming up now. Second action. Second thing, because you might want to do a bonus action. Attack or intimidate. Attack or intimidate with a dagger. Attack, intimidate with dagger. Then we've got stab with sleep arrow. Stab with entangle arrow. Disengage. Or what was the other one? Sleep arrow, entangle arrow, attack him with a dagger. Disengage, or what else is coming up as an option? Oh, grapple and drag. Grapple and drag. Alright, you've got 5 options. The poll is up. You've got 1 minute to decide. What do you want to do? Attack or intimidate him with his own dagger. Stab him with a sleep arrow, stab him with the entanglement arrow, disengage, or grapple him and drag him into the zone of silence. If he attacks us and knocks us unconscious, we'll lose pass without a trace anyway, so we need to get to safety first. He's unlikely to knock you unconscious. To knock you unconscious, he'd have to do at least 43 damage in a single round in order to trigger massive damage, and then you'd have to fail a con save, and then you'd have to roll a 0 or 1 or a 2. As your lung comes back to you, you whisper to him, "For what little it's probably worth to you, Kraak. I was trying to stop the murders of the villagers. Little death as possible. That's the first and only time I used that trap because I hated the damage it did to your leg." 46% of you deciding to stab with an entanglement arrow. That is not a majority, so we go to preferential voting. We drop off grapple and drag and stab with sleep arrows because that would not have brought you above. Yeah, so we're going to drop those two, and we're going to go back to a second option of stab with the arrow, stab with entangle, disengage, or intimidate. What are we going to do with our second action, our first turn of combat? We've cured ourselves. We're still at risk with the gnolls passing us of alerting them. If we Misty Step, does it use us? Yeah, you've only got 1 second level spell slot left. You can see it if I do this. This one here is your second level spell slots. These are your first level spell slots. You'll see you'll have 3 first levels and 1 second level. So this is all the spell slots you have. If you Misty Step, it's a second level spell, as you can see here. What a cool overlay, everybody. Look at this interactive overlay. It's like a video game. The entanglement arrow gives us the option of using any further actions to keep him quiet. We can deal with him once the danger has passed. He's strong though, he might bust the entangle. That is a risk. He does have good strength saves. Alright, with 53% of the vote now, we decide we're going to stab him with the entanglement arrow. For what it's worth, I wasn't trying to, I was doing my best to prevent murders of villagers. and I've never used that particular trap again since. And then you bring the entanglement arrow out of your quiver, which you commissioned a long time ago. And one way or another, you are going to... Actually, I guess I'll roll for it first, because if you miss with it entirely, then I guess it doesn't use it up. Here we go. With a 7, your modifier for this would be your strength or dexterity, because I'd say that an arrow is a finesse weapon, like a dagger. So that is a +3. So you've got a 10 total. Then your proficiency, if you're proficient in this sort of weapon, unfortunately... You're proficient in firing weapons. You're not proficient in unarmed striking with weapons. With improvised weapons. So you are not proficient with improvised weapons. So that would just be a 10 total. So a 10 against his armor class. You can choose to go with that and hope that it hits, or you can choose to use your horseshoe and reroll. Didn't we get training in the boxing ring? You got training in unarmed fighting, not in improvised weapons. You haven't trained with how to stab somebody with an arrow proficiently in order to get through their armor and whatnot. We do get 2 attacks. Yes, you get 2 attacks, so you can choose to re-roll it, or you can just go with your second attack. Force bonus does not apply. Even if it did, it would give you like a 13 instead of a 10. It's not a huge amount. Can I try and hit his armor and activate the entangle without hurting him? No. No, in order to activate the entanglement, it has to cause damage to the target. It needs to hit the target. If we don't do this and we've missed, do we get a second attack? You do get a second attack. Okay, second attack most people are saying, and then horseshoe if that fails. Cool. So first attack, you try and get it through his leather armor, and it's not happening. Leather armor, whatever armor he's using, and then the second attack, try and hit him with this. Interesting question there, Jennifer's just raised. You have got a bonus action left. If you want to, before this second attack, if you want to use your bonus action to use Planar Warrior, you could channel some of your planar energy into this attack, meaning that instead of just the d4, it would do a d4 plus a d8, and it would be force damage. So yes, no, do you want to use Planar Warrior as your bonus action? Might as well, not using it for anything else anyway. Okay, overwhelming yes, you are going to Planar Warrior. You try and get through his armor, you miss with it, so you channel that. It's surprisingly, it's incredibly easy to access a sense of danger right now. So you feel the hairs on the back of your neck standing up, you feel the adrenaline pumping through your veins, you feel the nerves of everything happening, you are moving at super fast speed. You channel into one arm, you channel it down further into the wrist, and further from that into the hands and the fingers that are wrapped around the fletching of your arrow. You feel your hand and arrow all turn into this ethereal plane, and then you try for a second stab at him to add that extra Planar Warrior damage into this attack. Here we go. That is an 8. 8 for the second one, which is better than the first one. That is a whole 5% better. 5% raise on your attack. So you've got an 11. Do you want to use your horseshoe? Rob, roll better. Horseshoes in the chat if you want to use your horseshoe. Looks like it. Good grief, these dice. Okay, we are going to use our second reroll of the day that comes from our lucky horseshoe. You have now used both your hero point and your lucky horseshoe. So you're going to reroll that 8 from an 8 into a 5. So with an 8 total, no, we'll go with the 8 plus the 3 from the dexterity, takes it to an 11. You use you stab, and then eventually the Planar Warrior wears off because you missed with it. You're trying to get through his armor, you're not doing it. I'll say that you at least the silver lining is you haven't used your entanglement arrow. It's still in your hand. Just end the stream, and then we get a hero point back again. You wouldn't get your horseshoe back again because that refreshes on dawn. But you do refresh your hero point every stream. Quick, reload the quick save. Roll with the other hand in future. Okay, so we have used an action to cure wounds. We've used a free object interact to pull a knife out. We've used an action to make the attack action, which gives us two actions. We've used a bonus action to Planar Warrior. You've used everything that you've got except for your movement. And to remind you, this is where you are. So you have movement left. As a dwarf, without using your bonus action to move an extra 5 feet, that's a homebrew thing, you have a base movement of 25 feet. So you have 25 feet of movement if you want to use it. I will tell you, if you leave his melee range, it's more than likely he will take an attack of opportunity at you. Where do you want to go? If anywhere. Doesn't Planar Warrior stay for the next attack that hits? Use a bonus action, choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. Next time they hit that creature on this turn with a weapon attack. Let's not move. Sounds like we've got enough HP to take a hit. You do, but any damage you take forces you to make a concentration check against Pass Without Trace. If allies don't know about this, they might lose their whole next turn. Do we still have the Cloak of Displacement? You no longer have the Cloak of Displacement. You gave it up to the demon of your own free will and volition, and you weren't coerced into it by the Dungeon Master. Will our Zone of Stealth move with us? Will the Zone of Stealth move with... Yes, it will. Yeah, the Zone of Stealth moves with you. Alright, let's give it thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you want to move? Anywhere. That includes, like, skirting around him or moving 5 feet away. Any movement at all. Do you want to move? Thumbs up, thumbs down. The no's mostly have it. Could we shove him? You could do that as an attack. You've no longer got any attacks left. Alright, the no's have it. We are not going to move. We're going to stay where we are, which means that's the end of your turn, Apus. Now we are going to go back into regular idea for how Nightbot controls the actions. At this point, we are going to go into regular combat order. I'm going to ask you for a keyword in the chat if you want to be included as an option for who to control Apus the next round of combat. You will enter a keyword into the chat. Only enter that keyword if you are okay with having the responsibility of controlling Apus fully on the next turn of combat. I will also remind people there are no right choices here, so if anybody does enter and they do a thing that you don't like to happen, don't give them any shit for it. We are all controlling the neurons of Apus's mind. The keyword to enter into the chat is going to be... let's go with exclamation mark... You just tried to stab the guy, so let's go with exclamation mark stab. He stabbed you, you stabbed him back. So exclamation mark stab in the chat if you want to be entered into the draw of who can control Apus next turn of combat when it comes back around to you. Okay, it is the end of Apus's turn and it is your allies' turn. You are correct in thinking that Mosh, Fang, and Minnie are completely oblivious to what is happening. They are 30 feet away from you in a zone of Pass Without a Trace. You have deliberately tried to be silent. He has also been relatively quiet. None of them heard what was happening. Mel gets her own turn, so she doesn't count for allies. So the only person that could act is Apus. Does Apus know what's happening? You are in the peripheral, but you are hidden. I'm going to say that because your Pass Without a Trace was so high, the downside to a good stealth modifier, as you may have seen recently in the Viva La Dirt League stuff. I don't know if it's this episode that came out this week or the last week or the next week. I think you've seen it. I think it came up at some point that if you are hidden with a high enough stealth score, it doesn't only hide you from your enemies, it hides you from your allies as well. So for the purposes of your cleric friend knowing where you are in order to come heal you, Ben can't get healed because Greg can't see him. Yes, okay. I didn't want to say too much in case you hadn't seen it yet, but yes, if you're a very stealthy rogue and you go down and you go into hiding, your cleric doesn't necessarily know where you are in order to come and heal you. So, in a similar fashion, with you, Mel, and Kraak all doing very well on your Pass Without a Trace stealth scores, and Apus being in a zone of complete silence at this point, unfortunately you beat his passive perception. He does not see what's happening. It won't take much for you to get his attention if you start like waving your hands or something, but of course if you do that, then you're giving yourself away to the gnolls as well. It's almost like Kraak picked his opportunity pretty well. So, allies are currently just doing nothing on their turn. They are just continuing to take the dodge action or to hide where they are. So we're going to go back to the top of the round. Thankfully for you, the gnolls have not been alerted, so we're not adding enemy 2 to the board anywhere. But Mel and her militia are going to do her thing. You did not tell Mel to attack him with the sleep stuff, So she is going to, let's see, she sees you trying to stab him, she's going to do the same. She's going to fly off of your shoulder, which unfortunately drops her stealth down to a disadvantage. So I'm going to roll again for her and see what her new stealth is. That's not bad. That's a 16 plus stuff, which I think is better than she rolled the first time. So Mel is at disadvantage with this stealth, but still with the pass without trace, still within the bubble of shadows and quiet, and so she doesn't get heard from afar. She goes up and she tries to take an attack at him with her sting attack. Nat 1. Nat 1 is not good, especially if there's an ally within range, which means you need to make a dexterity saving throw, or Mel might actually sting you instead. Because that's how friendly fire works. Dexterity saving throw, you are proficient in it, which is why you've got a yellow light, white light around it, so it means you get to add your proficiency bonus, so +6 to the modifier. So you need a DC 10 dexterity saving throw with a +6. You should be okay, hopefully. You just need to not roll a 3 or less. That's a 3. No, it's a 13. You get a 13 plus your 6, 19. You manage to, whoa, you dodge out of the way. You and Mel aren't coordinating your attacks very easily. You're trying to stab with this thing just as she's flying in to try and stab with her stinger. And whoa, she almost hits you, glances off of you, doesn't manage to hit him, but also doesn't hurt you either. Which means that we are back to this one. That is her option. Then it is the militia. The militia are going to go now. They're going to both... let's see if we can get any of them in. I think if one of them attacks, and then she tells them to move aside and the other ones come in to attack. Yeah, I'll allow that. So let's both take the attacks from both militia on Kraak. That's a 10 on both dice. 10 plus their modifier. I'm going to have to look this up. 5. Okay, so 15, and then Kraak is... That hits. Alright, both of those hit Kraak. He's going to take 2 plus 3 plus another 3 each. 2 plus 3 plus another, it should be 4, shouldn't it? This level. Yeah, this level is 4, so 2 plus 3 is 5, plus another 8 is 13. 13 total damage to Kraak. Okay, Kraak's still standing. Kraak's still standing. At the end of the militia's turn, it is going to be Kraak's turn, and before Kraak gets to have a turn, I'm going to draw from Nightbot. So, there are 12 people who decided to be brave enough to go, yep, I want to control Apus. I want to risk the vitriol that comes my way from screwing up and getting Apus killed. Who is going to be the one in charge? Venanzia Dormatagni. Venanzia, if you are still in chat, please stick us an emote of some kind, just to let us know that you've recognised that you are being drawn, and then start thinking about what you're going to do. You have an action, a bonus action, a movement. This is your first ever D&D action. Awesome. Good time for it, Venanzia. We will walk you through it. You don't need to be too worried or nervous or anything. We'll walk you through it. As I said, there's no right answers, so whatever you do is just whatever you think is right in the moment. You've got an action. Some of the actions you can do, if you attack, you can make. You can see them over there. Those are your attack actions. Some of your bonus actions down in that bottom corner. Those are some things you can do. There's other things you can do as well. There's spells. If we go over here to this one, you can see you've got some spells there, and they usually say underneath them whether they've got actions or bonus actions to cast. There's a lot of things. It is your choice, so you have final say. You can ask for advice from the people in the chat if you want to, but if you have an idea of what you want to do, you should just do that. You should feel confident in doing what you feel is right for Apus to do in this moment. Start thinking about it now and start writing it out if possible, so that it can save time when we get to it. Okay. Let's go. Let's go back over here so you can see the battlefield and your actions a little bit. The enemy. It is now Kraak's turn. He has 2 attacks. He tried to dig that arrow into you. He realizes that missed. He tried to punch you in the mouth and missed that time. Maybe he tries to punch you in the mouth again. Does he grapple you first to give himself advantage? Well, he wouldn't give advantage on a grapple. He'd have to pin you. Yeah, he's going to go for the teeth thing again. He thinks it's appropriate. or the leg thing first? Yeah, go for the leg thing first. He is going to he's going to pick up that dagger. Yeah, he's going to pick up that dagger and he's going to jab it with a cold shot directly towards your leg. The left leg, same as his was, I believe. He's going to try and poetically give you a leg injury, the same as he has, which is a cold shot, and he's going to forego extra damage on this cold shot in order to give you a permanent reduction in your speed instead. That makes sense, yeah. All right. Oh, good. That is definitely going to hit for him. That is going to be a dirty 20, which will hit your armor class by more than needed to give you this reduction as well. So it's only a dagger damage, so it's not a lot of damage. That is going to be 6 points of damage, which comes off of your 75 to 69. Nice. 69 damage. You have a reduction in your speed by 10 feet. Because he's jabbed you deeply into the hamstring right behind the knee. He's cut some sort of tendon there. Again, as before with the lung issue, you can choose any sort of magical healing will negate that reduction in speed. It leaves 10 feet. No, you have 25 base. You can bonus action move an extra 5 feet on your turn to take it up to a 30 base. If you're not doing anything else with your bonus action, you can give yourself an extra 5 feet. So you can move 20 feet on your turn if you use your bonus action to do so. You can also dash for an extra 15 feet and stuff too. So you can still get some decent movement with bonus action and dash. But until such time as you get magical healing on your leg wound, you have a 10-foot reduction in your speed. He stabs you in the leg, and in response to your saying, "We didn't mean to do that, and we've never used that blah 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 again," and he says, "Oh, didn't mean to hit you in the leg. Oh, sorry. I hope that leg wound doesn't fuck up the rest of your life. I didn't mean to. I swear I'll never use daggers again." And then he leaves the dagger behind in your leg again, and he once again goes for the punch in the mouth, in a way of saying like, "Oh no, I won't use daggers. I'll just break your teeth with my fist instead." So, second attack, he is going to hit you in the face, or he's going to try anyway. He was doing a cold shot, so unfortunately that is a 16, which is not quite enough. So 16 would hit your armor class and normally cause you some amount of damage, but instead he was aiming for a specific effect from hitting you, and so I increased your armor class a little higher than that. That's how I do cold shots in my games. So he hits you in the mouth, pushes your chin to the side. It hurts, but not enough to cause you points of damage here. Concentration after the dagger attack. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, let's go with your concentration. It needs to be a DC 10. Concentration, nat 20. Nice. All right, so you are concentrating. You are not at disadvantage on concentration because you healed your wound. You healed your lung. So you keep the pass without a trace up. You are getting stabbed and punched and knocked and hit and you're like, "Don't drop the fucking spell! Don't drop the spell! Oh god!" You're focusing on that more than you are on stabbing, apparently. Okay, good. I believe that was his 2 attacks. Does he want to use his bonus action yet? No, he doesn't. That is his. Yep, that's his whole turn. Apus, you're up. So, Venanzia. What have you got for me? At least we're staying hidden. You are. Like, that pass without a trace, I will stress once again, is the most clutch thing out of anything that's happening in this entire fight. Not getting seen by a war band of like 70 plus gnolls is significant. Where are the gnolls at in the meantime? About 6 seconds further that way. Do our allies see Mel? Not the ones that are facing forwards. Apus, maybe. Looks at the character sheet. Misty Step doesn't have a concentration on it, so can't we do it without dropping pass without... You can do it without dropping pass without trace, yes. Misty Step is not a concentration check. Concentration, so you don't have to concentrate on it. You don't have to drop concentration on it. Alright, Venanzia says, "I want to disengage with the action, then move towards Mosh and Fang, but with the speed reduction, I'm not sure it would even work." Well, if you want to move towards Mosh and Fang, they're in different areas here. They're in different areas here and here. So you could move sort of in a 1 o'clock direction, as it were, like to get between both of them, keeping both of these in the pass without a trace. You would drop pass without a trace on Apus, but he is in with an area of silence, so that might be okay. If somebody could remind me what Apus's stealth check was. I know originally it was a nat 1, but the silence gave him advantage, and I think he rerolled it into a 10 or a 15 or something. So if you move up here, you would drop Apus's pass without a trace bonus. Could we even reach either before Kraak catches up with us? Well, if you use your action to disengage, you would then have, and then your bonus action to use the extra movement, you'd get 20 feet of movement. So you'd be able to get 20 feet towards Mosh or 20 feet towards Fang. You wouldn't be able to get in melee with them, but you'd be able to get close enough that you could potentially get their attention. You could, theoretically, it's a risk, but you could not disengage and just move and then use the action to dash. But if you don't disengage, he takes an attack of opportunity on you. He might miss because you've got a decent armor class with 15. He's going to take an attack on you if you move without disengaging. Moving towards Fang Min, you can keep all and pass without trace if done carefully. Yeah, if you move very carefully, I'd say like 10 feet this way. You could move 10 feet towards them before the back end of your 30-foot radius drops on one of these two. If you use Cure Wounds first, there's no speed reduction, but then you wouldn't be able to. Do your disengage. So we'd be back into the problem of getting there without disengaging. All right. So Venanzia says yes. Let's do that. So we're going to disengage as our action. So you sort of put your hand on his chest carefully to just push him back far enough that he's not going to get a sweeping attack on you. You take a step back, like back away from him carefully, so that he doesn't get your attack. But doing so is like your full action focus for the round. You're focusing on like backing away without opening yourself to him. Only when you're about 5 feet away do you turn your back to him and start to move as fast as you can, like hobbling on one leg towards one of them. So are you going, Venanzia, are you going for Mosh or Fang? Are you going towards Mosh or towards Fang and Mini? 15 plus 19 to a 34. Thank you, Fancy. I had 15 in my head. I'm pretty impressed with myself that I managed to keep 15 in my head for 2 weeks. Just crazy. Well, moving towards Fang. All right. So you move towards Fang and you go 20 feet. 15 from regular, 5 foot from your bonus action, and you go 20 feet towards Fang. This is in whatchamacallit. This is in Incarnate. So I can't just move things around too easily. But let's grab Kraak. Let's grab Kraak and say that he is now 20 feet this way. Mel is coming with you. Everybody else is 20 feet this way. Respective to you. So Kraak is there, and Fang and Mini are now. So Mosh is here, and Fang and Mini are about here and here. And then Apus is no longer in the pass without a trace. Closer. Zone of silence. What are we saying? I'm not saying what you're saying. What are you saying? At least he's having a good time. Yeah. 10 feet. We want to go 10 feet towards instead of 20 feet. Okay. So Fang and Mini are over here instead. And Mosh is over here. Okay. All good. Move was 10 feet to keep everyone in pass without trace. Gotcha. Okay, no biggie. No biggity. No biggity. I like the way you work it. No biggity. Let's erase this little dots. Let's just erase the dots entirely. And then I can move the names around, and the names can talk about where everything is instead. That'll be easier. Easier and quicker. I like the way you work it. Why are you doing why do you keep going back to that? Alright. Apus and Mel are going together, thankfully, so there's not a lot of needs to change with them. Okay. That means Apus potentially doesn't notice. No, he still will, I think. Ugh. Take my hoodie off now that it's warmed up a little bit. Take off an hoodie and put on a hoodie. Would Mosh be able to smell our blood now that we're closer to him? Potentially. Let's see. Mosh's smell. You're not close enough to him for that to be an issue, no. Also, you're deliberately standing downwind of the gnolls, right? Because otherwise, if Mosh can smell you, then the gnolls may also be able to smell you, because that means you're upwind of them. And move Apus back into the circle as well, thank you. Yes, so Apus is here and is back over here into the circle. Into the woods. So you've used 10 feet of your movement. You've still got your bonus action, Venanzia. Can we whisper as a bonus action, trying to alert our allies? I'll allow that. I'll allow a bonus action to try and attract attention. Yeah, okay. You start at a very low level. Hey, 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 hey! And you get gradually louder and louder to the point where it's like they will hear, but nobody further than them will hear, and you're trying to match that. You're trying to match that level of hey, 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 and you're like pointing back at the guy, and you're caw, caw, and Minnie's like, "Is that a dying giraffe?" Okay, that is your movement. You got a little bit of movement left, but you've decided that's where you're going to stay. You got your movement, you got a bonus, you used bonus action to just try and attract attention. Let's see how well you can do at that. Let's, that's a 6 plus your charisma is not great, but that would set the DC at 13 for Minnie to hear it. I think Minnie's passive perception's pretty good. This is why I got their character sheets open before the session. Let's have a look at them. Minnie, perception. Yes, she's good. She's aware perception right now, so she is able to hear it. Fang, let's have a look at his. His perception's also good, so he's able to hear it as well. And Mosh's perception is also pretty good. Not as good as I would have thought, but okay. All of them are able to hear and turn around and glance back and see you moving. Navi from Zelda. Hey, listen! The South Park reference there, thank you. With a net in your inventory, I guess it could slow the enemy down. It could, potentially. Yeah. You say to these guys, you get their attention, and you're just silently trying to show, and you turn around and show that you've got blood seeping down the left side of your armor now, and the leg is all injured and got a dagger sticking in it. Both of them turn and see this as well, and are now aware of the situation. Okay, that is your turn, Apus. I think that's you, right? That's everything you're going to do. That was your bonus, your movement, everything. Cool. Good choice. Good movement, Venanzia. All right. So the next thing in combat is your allies. So before we go into allies, let's go into Nightbot and choose who is going to do the next thing in the turn. Okay. The next thing in the turn is !Quiet. !Quiet in the chat if you want to be in with a chance to decide what to do on Apus's next turn of combat. Quiet. Quiet, not quite. While you are deciding who wants to be in with a chance to decide what happens in the next turn of Apus's combat, I'm really impressed and surprised that you've managed to keep Pass Without a Trace up like that. Let's go with your allies. So now they are all able to act. So one at a time, let's think what's going to happen. as far as they like, as much as they know now that something is going on there, they are also in the same predicament as you of like that. But we've got to be quiet and not move too much. What was our action? Disengage. Let's see. Who to do first? Who is the most obvious? Minnie. Minnie's the most obvious because she's stealthy as fuck and she can fly without attracting attention. So she is going to... she's going to use her movement, which is... What's her movement speed? 60 feet. Whew. Monks, man. She is going to easily fly, so that's 30 feet, and then this is another 10-ish to get to Kraak. She gets right up in Kraak's face, and she's going to pommel into him, like, to try and take him the fuck out. What's she got? Let's see. She's got unarmed strikes as a monk. She's got quarterstaffy type abilities. She's got flurry of blows. She can kick the shit out of him there. She could even teleport behind him to get the extra advantage on the attack. Yeah, she does that. To be even more stealthy, instead of flying, she turns around on Fang's shoulder. She sees what's happening. She sees Kraak starting to rush after Apus, and she, being that she's in an area of shadow because of the Pass Without a Trace, she just disappears into shadow off of Fang's shoulder, reappears right behind Kraak, and just punches him right in the back of the nape of the neck. Poof! She has advantage on this attack because of her abilities as a shadow monk. Garbage roll though, Minnie. That is a 9 and a 5. So take the 9, add your unarmed strike modifier of plus 10. Jesus Christ. That is a 19. 19 is enough to hit him. So, smack! Right in the back of the head. What does she do with that? So, a d8 plus 6 damage. She hits him first for 13 damage. 13 onto here. Where am I? 13 there. Takes it to... Okay, he's still standing. She's going to pump in a point of stunning strike to try and make him knock him out without doing anything. He gets that's plenty enough. He gets a 16 on the dice plus his Constitution modifier. She's gets 2 attacks per round. Yeah, attacks per action. So she's going to take her second attack. She doesn't have advantage on this one. She's going to try and hit him again. Back of the head. Ooh, not great. That's a 3. 3 plus 10, 13. 13 is actually not enough to hit him. So whack right in the back of the head. He realizes she's there and kind of brings up his hands, which kind of interferes with her attack on the second one. It doesn't do enough to cause damage, so she is going to bonus action flurry of blows. She's going to spend another key point. So one there, flurry of blows. She's going to make another attack with flurry of blows. The second one didn't hit, so she can't stunning strike. Yeah, first one of the flurry of blows, much better, 22, that hits. And con save from him against stunning strike, still good. That is, what's her DC? Spell DC, does it say what her DC is on stunning strike? I could work it out, but can I find it or work it out faster? That's the question. Stunning strike, DC 16. 16 is exactly what he just made, I think. Let me just double check that, because it could be wrong. 16, yeah, he just makes it. But she still does the damage on that first flurry of blows. Maxes it out. 8 plus 3, 8 plus 6, did we say? 8 plus 6. Yeah, 8 plus 6 is another 14 points of damage to him. He's now looking bloodied. Kraak is tank, by the way. If I didn't make that clear enough in how I described him as being fucking swole, he's got a lot of hit points. Would we drop concentration from Planar Warrior? I don't think so. I don't think Planar Warrior is a concentration thing, is it? If it is, then we can say that you didn't Planar Warrior, and I'll reduce some of the damage on him. But because you wouldn't have done that if you'd known. And then finally, last action of his flurry of blows, try and kick the crap out of him one last time. kick him in the back of the head. 19 plus 10, 29 to hit. Minnie is kicking the crap out of this guy. And 7... Oh yeah, the Planar Warrior didn't even hit. 7 plus 6 is 13 points of damage. He's looking pretty rough now. And then one final... she's going to pump another key point into this to flurry. She's running through these key points, but at least she's trying to stun him. Here we go. Hey! Okay, that's a fail. That's 3 on the dice plus stuff will fail. So Kraak, Minnie's just... Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Punching him in the back of the head. Ow, 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 fuck. And he is stunned as she hits him in the back of the head. Does he... Let me think now. If I'm him and I'm getting punched in the back of the head by Minnie and I know what she's capable of... I'm gonna make... Okay. Here's how this is gonna work. I'm gonna give it a chance of failing and a chance of succeeding, so you know that it's fair. He's getting pummeled, and it was on the 4th attack that she finally managed to stun him, which means that he has time to scream out in pain, if that is his choice to do so. He has the time to shout out and try and alert people to his presence. Minnie is very fast as a monk. Bam, 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 bam. So I'm going to make it an initiative check between the two of them. If she beats him on initiative, she manages to knock him out before he calls out. If she does not beat his initiative, he manages to call out before she knocks him out. Just so you know, it's a fair situation. Alright, now, Minnie, I'm going to use one of Apus's dice for, and Kraak I'm going to use Mel's dice for. And I'm going to roll on here, and I will tell you what she needs in order to succeed here. So Minnie's initiative is a +5. Kraak's initiative is a +3. So we need the Mini dice, the Apus dice. We need this to be at least 1 less than this. Let's go. That is a 12 plus 5 for Minnie and a 3 plus 3 for Kraak, which means Minnie beats Kraak's initiative and she knocks him out just as he's and she looks. You sort of look around with your knife in your leg as Minnie is just teleported behind you and is wailing on the back of his head, and just as he goes, she goes BAM! Right, one last time in the nape of his neck. She manages to finally find that key. She channels into his chakra and his different sort of channeled energy, his ley lines of his body, as it were. She manages to tap into that, and in a moment of manipulation, she severs that from the rest of his body, and he just goes into this stunned state of just gabbled. And if you know the stunned condition, which she has just inflicted on him, it says, you are incapacitated, you cannot move, you can speak, but only falteringly, and you will automatically fail any strength and dexterity saving throws, and you grant advantage to anyone who's attacking you. So he is knocked out a little bit. He's not unconscious, but he is stunned and dazed, and he can speak, but not make sense. And so I'm going to say that because of that, he cannot scream out in ways to alert the gnolls. All right, that is Minnie's turn. That was bonus action. Wait a minute. Does the shadow step take a bonus action? Shadow step. Cloak of Shadows. You can use your action to become invisible. Shadow Arts. Stillness of Mind. They've got lots of different features here. Shadow Step. When you're in as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet. Okay, so she did not. That first one. I'm going to remove some of the damage that she did because she wouldn't have hit with that first attack. Because she wouldn't have had bonus action. So instead of teleporting across to him, she just flew across to him because she had the movement still. So she flew across to him. She instead of bonus action dashing, bonus action misty stepping, so that she could flurry of blows him. but he'll take away some of that damage from that first attack, because the first attack would have missed. But that's fine. Okay. If we let him live, he could switch sides and tell him all of our plans. It's possible. All right, then let's see. We've got Fang, Mosh, and Apus. Apus sees all of this happening. Is in a zone of silence, so doesn't hear anything happening. What do they see happen? What do they want to do? Apus does nothing. Apus does nothing on his turn. Makes sense for him, given his circumstances. Yeah, Apus is just watching and analysing for this moment. Fang is going to see Minnie do this thing, and I think Fang is very confident in Minnie's abilities to very quickly quiet a guy. And so Fang is just going to also do nothing. He's going to ready... I think he might ready an attack in case something else happens. Fang doesn't want to do anything that could, because readying a spell would cast the spell right now. Readying an attack is movement too much. He stays as still and quiet as he can, because he knows the bigger threat is the gnolls. So he's gonna basically just take the dodge. And then Mosh likewise is more likely to move. Like he goes like instinctively to get between you and Kraak, and then he sees Minnie go fly across there like a bullet, and he is gonna just kind of leave her to do it, and then keeps turning to look for the gnolls instead. I think that's good. I think the allies are just kind of staying where they are, waiting for if something becomes more of an issue. At this point, I'm going to have the gnolls roll some checks to see if, with the small amounts of movements that they have seen, with Mel flying, with Minnie flying across there, I'm going to just see if they have noticed anything, or any of them have noticed anything. The DC for them noticing things is pretty high, because they are still 100 feet away and you're in a pass without a trace. So the DC is very high. It's unlikely that they notice anything. With a 16, that'll not be enough. With a 12, that's not enough. And with a nat 1, that's not enough. So the gnolls seem to continually passing. They are still just like churning and rolling and writhing over each other. Smacking the war drums and the thundering storm that rolls ahead of them whenever they go. You can hear them yapping and screaming and laughing in that hyena kind of way. There's definitely sounds of like picking up the pace, like they've found something that they want to tear at, and maybe there's a couple of them tearing at a rabbit that's in the forest or something. They're having a fun time rave, yeah. Okay. It is now, let's see, we are back to, that was Allies' turn. We're back to the top of the round with Mel and the militia. Mel is going to, let's see. Mel was no longer flying on you, she was attacking him, so she actually would have stayed here thinking about it. So she's going to attack him once again. You didn't give her the option to sleep, so she's going to use her... She's going to use her attack. She's just going to attack him. She's got advantage on the attack because of him being stunned. That is going to be a 13 plus stuff hits. 13 plus stuff plus her modifier is now this. Plus her attack, damage rather. Oh, nice. Good damage. And then he needs to make a save against poison as she's going to pump in her bee-sting venom. Which means he is down to that now. And then she takes the venom. Constitution save from Kraak first. Fails it. Fails his Constitution save. That is another damage. He's looking real bad. Like Kraak can't survive this for much longer. At the end of this, she's going to tell her militia to both have a go at him. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. Advantage on the first one, nat 20. Advantage on the second one, nat 19. So both of those hit. The first one is a nat 20, which is 4 plus their modifier. 8 plus this is 1. That's 9 points of damage. And then the second one is 4 plus 4 is 8. So maxed it out on both. So that is 9, 8, 17. 17 points of damage. And the militia kill Kraak. As he is stunned by Minnie. Goes into a state where he drops all of his guard. Mel manages to stick her bee sting right through his chest and punctures one of his lungs. Pumps in a bunch of poison, and then a bunch of the bees just start to swarm over him, get into his orifices and his eyes and ears and mouth, and starts to tear him up, sting at him until eventually his body just can't hold it anymore and falls down dead. He had it coming. He had it coming. He had it coming. Maybe Mel recognizes him now. Mel's a good protective friend. She's good. Yeah, she does a good job. Poor Kraak. What a world. Indeed, right? What a world. Okay, so Mel and the militia buzzing up a treat. They are no longer stealthing very stealthily. So there is a chance that the gnolls see us. They didn't hear us before. They're still a decent ways away. They still pass without a trace on, so the check is still low. But with the buzzing and the nuisances and stuff, let's see if they hear it. Let's get 3 of these. With a 4 and a 12, that is not enough, but with a 16, that is now enough. So one of the gnolls hears a little bit of buzzing. Now, just because he hears buzzing doesn't mean that they're now all going to come this way. Maybe only a couple of the gnolls do, maybe none. Let me think. Put myself in the mind of a gnoll. He hears some buzzing, some commotions of something. It's just forest noises. Looks this way. What is he going to see if he looks this way, if his attention is this way? Mosh and Fang specifically didn't move so that they couldn't attract attention, so there's no attention being attracted there. Apus hasn't been moving lately. Kraak has died. I'd say it's very unlikely. They heard you. They're gonna sniff this way. They're gonna look this way. They're gonna pay their active attention this way. So I'm going to now roll to see if I'm gonna roll them a perception check basically, and I'm gonna see what they can ascertain. See if they feel like there's see if they can see anything. Nat 1. They looked this way, whatever they heard, whatever they thought they heard, whatever they smelt, whatever it was that brought their attention, maybe it was a peripheral bit of movement. They saw like a bug flying, some bugs flying through the trees, a giant bee flying through the trees. Something they heard, saw, or smelt caught their attention. It was more like an instinct that there might have been something over there than an actual like sense. And then they use their senses to try and hone in, what was that? Was that something? And then some of the other gnolls get their attention back and they continue on. Must have been the wind. Yeah. He had it coming. He had it coming. Ireland's doing all of the musical of the musical of Twitch Tales. He only had himself to blame with all his stabbing and all his smashing. I bet you would have done the same. Pop, sting, squish, stab, bite. Cicero. Lip shits. This is a musical episode now, yeah. Okay, so as Kraak goes down dead, and the other enemy, never actually got to hide out on the board, as it were, the gnolls continue to pass, and you hold yourself real close and still. Anything that anybody would like to do, we're out of combat order, so the people who put themselves forward for Nightbot, thank you, but you are now not needed. You are dismissed. Would you like to remove the dagger and do a cure wounds on your leg, so that you can get your movement back? Take the dagger out of our leg. Let's wait with the dagger so we don't have to do a concentration check on it. Ask Fang for help on the surgery. Yeah, you can do all of that stuff. So you wait. You start to pick off the gnolls from the back. Yeah, you following the gnolls. I'll put yeses and nos in the chat for following the gnolls. Oh, look at all these yeses. Man, there's a lot of yeses there. We're following the gnolls. We're going to attack the gnolls from behind. All right. So with playing a warrior, we're going to make an attack roll. And it's only a 5, so your arrow whizzes past them and misses, but it alerts them to your presence. You do not do that. You wait. You wait until the gnolls are out of sight. You kind of put all your weight in your right leg to take the weight off the left. You breathe through the pain, you focus on the pass without a trace, you think, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And eventually, once you feel like they're out, so that even if you drop pass without a trace, it's probably not an issue, you pull the dagger out. I'm going to have a dexterity check from you. You're not in a high volatile situation anymore, so I'm not going to give you disadvantage on this one, just a regular check. 8. 8 plus your dex is a 3, so 11. 11's enough to carefully pull the dagger out without causing yourself any more damage. And then you lay on hands yourself with a Cure Wounds to remove the damage to your leg. So your reduction of speed is no longer reduced, but you still have 69 nice hit points. How much ki does Minnie have left? She cast Silence and did Stunning Strike. Did she have any key healing spells? She cast Silence for 2, I think. Let me pull up her character sheet. Spells. Spells. Pass without a trace. Silence. Silence she cast, which is... It's not under there. It doesn't tell you how to do that. He only had himself to blame. Ah man, I don't know. She's got key points left, just not a lot of them. She has 12 total because she's a level 12 monk. She used 4 in that fight, and then however many for silence, which is like 2 or something. So she's halfway through her key points. She's used 6. Okay, so you could second wind, you could short rest. You now realize that at this point you are behind enemy lines. Very good work on not getting attacked by those gnolls, by the way. I will tell you, now that they have passed, and you're not going to do anything stupid enough to encounter them again, I will tell you that, and you can look up the statistics of them later if you wish to know how fucked you would have been. But there were 5 Gnoll Fangs of Yinogu, which individually are challenge rating 4, and there were 5 of them. There were 3 Gnoll Hunters, which are challenge rating half, and there were 3 of them. There were 4 Flesh Gnawers, challenge rating 1 each. There was 1 Gnoll Pack Lord, who is a challenge rating 4, I believe. No, 2. There were 25 regular Gnolls, Gnoll Warriors. There were 15 Hyenas, 12 Dretchers, and 11 Ghouls. So there was a lot of gnolls coming your way if you'd have fucked something up, but you did real good, and you did well to finish that fight without dropping concentration. I think we're all clear that the gnolls are TPK hands down. Not necessarily. Fang, Minnie, and Mosh are all excellent fighters. I was also, for the 25 regular gnolls, I would have just used minion rules, meaning like they basically have their regular stat block, but they only have 1 hit point. So any damage to the regular gnolls would have killed them. Same with the hyenas. So they were just acting like the majority of their army, just the regular gnolls and the hyenas. They were just like, kill them with area of effect things, or kill them with single fight, like shoot 1 attack at that guy, 1 attack at that guy, 1 attack at that guy. You could take out like 3 or 4 in a round. So they were intended to be like, get through them quickly. But then focus fire on the big guys would have been a lot of danger. There would have been a lot of danger in this fight if you had alerted them. Okay, so, listen please, we need to subdue Apus ASAP. If he runs away before we subdue him, he could A, attract the gnolls' attention, B, go tell the hobgoblins what happened and turn them against us. We already have enough of a problem with the demons, we don't need the hobgoblins after us as well. Maybe. But at the moment, he's not running away. You've killed the other goblin that was part of his group, and the 2 of them were intended to come with you to report. The whole point of them being here was so that they were very fast and they could run between people. But he's currently just standing there looking between you all. With a necromancer in this area, do we want to do anything with Kraak's body? That's a good question. What do you guys want to do? We don't want to have an undead version of this guy coming after us later again. Apus is a self-preservationist at all costs. He's a braggart, and he'd listen, but I wouldn't trust him. Interesting. Should interrogate him, but not trust him. Should signal Mel to take a perch, move towards Apus. Mel. And she buzzes down to you. Fang says, We shouldn't rest on our laurels here. We're still behind enemy lines. We should keep moving as much as possible. If everybody's still good, we should move on. We don't know if they're coming back through this area anytime soon. Obviously, we can hopefully hear them coming with the storm, but I don't want to be here when they come back this way. Can we bury him so the animals won't dig him up? Explain what happens. Yeah, you cast the exposition cantrip on everybody to say what just happened. Turns out that guy was the guy that I almost killed once and then let him live, and he had a grudge and tried to kill me, blah blah blah. Burning him will stink and attract attention with the smoke. Yeah, for sure. I'm not good. Who vetted this guy? Apus is just standing in a zone of silence, still unable to know what you're all saying outside of this zone. Technically, they attacked us first in the camp. Probably, yeah. They're goblins. Mel's militia eat the body? They are bugs? Yeah, they stick around for a minute or so. Mel just gives them the command to like try and eat as much as you can, and they decomposes, so they just get through very small amount of it because they're just bugs and bees, insects and stuff. They're going to cause a whole bunch of damage to his skin, but they're not going to get through much more than that in a minute. How far from the portal are we? Good question. I think like half a day to a day, depends how fast you're going. Da 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 dum, da 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 dum. He only had himself to blame. Cover him in brush and get moving. Are there animals in the area? Not a lot of animals in this forest, probably because of the extensive amount of demons in this forest. All of the demons here and the gnolls and things, they have torn apart anything living, essentially, so there's very few animals in this forest. Cut him into pieces and leave him. They could lay eggs in him. Mosh hungry grass. Light him on fire, use him as a distraction from our mission. You could do that as well, like deliberately use the fact that the fire would be attention grabbing and then light him on fire and fuck off real quick. Short rest is a good idea, maybe. Okay, so let's say most people are either saying move on or short rest first. So thumbs up for moving on. Like, get up and go. Thumbs down for hunker down, have a short rest, and then go. So thumbs up, move on. Thumbs down, short rest. Most people saying, let's move. Let's just get moving. You tell people, as the leader of this little SWAT team, let's move out. And you start to move out. As you are walking and talking, Apus leaves the zone of silence and walks with you. Says,
That was pretty fucked, wasn't it? What happened there?
and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. It was in the zone of silence, which is it's like an anti-magic field for exposition cantrip. You cast the exposition cantrip on Apus, describe to him what happened, blah blah blah. You got your movement speed back, yes you did. So you leave the body to be eaten by gnolls or whatever as it goes through this, as they go through this area, and you move on with Apus. Is there anything you want to ask him, interrogate him about? Anything you want to pick up from him? Are you trying to read anything from him? Let's not let Apus walk at our back. Yeah, you can sort of push him out in front and be like, look, you're leading the way at this point. I'm sorry about your friend. Not a friend, really. Walk in front of us as we explain. You explain the things. Fire. So some people will fire, some people will not fire. So thumbs up for set the body on fire before you leave. Thumbs down for leave it to be. So set it on fire, yes or no? Overwhelming no, we're not setting him on fire. How long was he with your team?
Oh, he's been with the team longer than I have.
Okay. Did you know his intentions?
Did I know that he was going to stab you?
Yeah, did you know his intentions?
If I did, would I tell you? Like, I'd be outing myself as part of knowing that and then not telling you. But no, I didn't. Oh boy, look at all these people who want Rock to come back. When will we ever learn?
How long have you been with the team?
Oh, I mean, what's time? A few months.
Can we insight check, see if he's lying? 5. You really should get proficiency in insight. You use it all the time, and you're not good at it. Yeah, your insight is a +2. With a 7 insight, you don't pick up on anything that would tell you he's lying, but you don't feel like you're doing a good job of reading him anyway, because you feel like there's a lot of adrenaline moving through you still at this moment, and like you can't believe that you survived that. It's like the feeling of having just narrowly avoided a major car accident. Did he ever mention his past to you?
No, just said that he was said that he'd been injured and in a fight and was looking to make sure that didn't happen again.
Surely all this insight uses training, isn't it? No. If you were doing well at it, maybe. I don't know. Can we say something in Sylvan, see if he responds? Ooh, very interesting. Okay. Mosh, sniff this one, is he lying? Say something in Sylvan and see if he responds. What sort of thing are you trying to catch him out with in Sylvan? I'm trying to remember how many months has it been. It's been about 8 months since you disappeared into the Feywild. P.S. Neurons. Apus doesn't know that we're Apis. He knows us as Archer. Yeah. Are we going to tell him that we're the Apis that he keeps stealing the stories from? That's a question for you. This will be a fun moment to reveal it, though. Tell a dirty Sylvan joke, see if he laughs. Tell him there's a fly on his nose. He could be the Fae that impersonated us, but acting like a goblin. He could be. Just trying to see if he slips up. Yeah, so like, I'm asking you, what do you say? Like, what do you say in Sylvan to try and make him slip up? There's a fly on your nose, but like you'd know if there's a fly on your nose, so it wouldn't necessarily make him do anything. Check to see if he's a demon. Has he been checked for that already? You do have your primeval awareness that you could use, so you could just check to see if he's Fey. You could stand next to him and then use your primeval awareness to go, are there any Fey within 5 feet of me? Faker says what? Do you mind if I call you Bobby? How'd you like these braces? They're good, right? Tell him he has a stain on his shirt. Just say, you have my braces. Tell him to watch out for the hole in front of him. Ask him about a green dragon. Casually look over his shoulder and say, oh cool. That's pretty good, that's pretty smart. Although, if you look over your shoulder and say anything, somebody's probably going to turn. It's like if somebody says, like if somebody calls out, if you're in like a silent room and somebody calls out a name, Jeremy! You're probably going to look even if your name's not Jeremy, just because there was a sound and you'll turn to the sound. I like the braces one. You have my braces? How else does a random goblin get so much information about us? You've become relatively well known around these parts. Your stories are becoming that of legend in the nation of Corintiel. All right, so you as you're walking and talking, you switch into Sylvan real quick and just say, what was it? Is it you have my braces? Is that what we wanted to say? Or are these nice? So how are you liking those braces? Or something like that. Are there any songs about you, Apus? Can you check the wound on my back? That'd be a good one. I'd rather it be watch out for the hole or something. How do you feel about pits? Ow, my wound just reopened. That could be a good one. My wound just reopened. Let's see if they turn around to say anything. Alright, well, I'm going to roll something. I'm going to roll a deception check for you to try and deceive him into you're trying to trick him into revealing himself a little. That is a 13 plus 1 for your deception. Okay. Whatever it is that you say, whether it's watch out for the hole in front of you or how are you liking those braces,
whatever you say, he does not seem to respond to, and he doesn't seem to react either. You don't notice. You have made him walk in front of you specifically, so you don't get to see his facial response. Like, you can't see his face. So maybe there was a twitch of something, but you didn't get to see it. What does happen is Mel goes, "What was that?" Because she's the only one that you speak Sylvan to. So she goes, "Sorry, what did you say?" And you're like, "Oh, never mind." Interesting. A normal person would turn and say, "What?" Maybe. Mel, you did really well back there.
Oh, thank you, Apus. I was thinking to put him to sleep, but you said not to do that unless you tell me to, so I did not do it. But then Minnie put him to sleep anyway.
Yeah, Minnie did a great job of putting him to sleep. Minnie also speaks Sylvan. True. Could say to Mel to trip him up and see if he reacts. He'd probably react. He'd probably react to putting his hands out and stopping him getting tripped up. Give Mel pats and scritches as we go. Yeah, she's on our shoulder. We can scritch her under the chin if she has a chin. You're still my number 1B.
Thank you, Apus. Archer.
Would Minnie be able to tell if Apus was a fae? You could ask. You could ask Minnie if you want. Do you want to drop back out of earshot of him and then ask Minnie? Do you get a reading on this guy? Does Fang have any way of telling if someone's telling the truth or Minnie? Neither of them have zone of truth. So I don't think so. I don't think either of them have detect thoughts either. Could you detect fey creatures with the ability? You can, yes, but it would cost you one of your spell slots. So you've used 2 spells. You've got left 2 first level spell slots and 1 second level spell slot. I like Apus. It's our first fanboy girl. Yeah. We could ask Minnie and Sylvan. Minnie does speak Sylvan. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so you drop back behind a little bit. You're walking and talking. You just allow yourself to walk a little slower as Apus is moving up front. Maybe you indicate to Fang like. Fang walks up to keep him company. So you let Fang go off ahead to distract Apus a little bit while you slink back behind and you talk to Minnie in Sylvan, and you say. Minnie, do you get any reading from this Apus guy of like being Fae? I'm kind of a little paranoid about whether he is who he says he is or whether he is the one that's been pretending to be me. And Minnie says, yes, it does seem like he is similar to you, right? With the stories he's telling and the fact his name is Apus and yours is Apis and is very close. And you say, yeah, do you get any reading of him being a Fae creature? She says, Fae are usually hard to read. If they are disguising themselves, they are disguising themselves well. I don't have anything that can just tell me if there's another Fae around. Like, don't you have something like that? Like, I can tell when there's demons around. Yeah, I can tell when there's Fae around. It's sort of an expensive... and it's a toll on me a little bit. It's a resource, I suppose, and I feel like if I do that too much, I'm not so good at the curing things anymore, and I feel like I should probably hold on to the curing in case we get into more trouble or dangerous and something. She goes, right, I can't do anything like that, unfortunately. Could the dice tell us the truth? Yeah, you could ask the dice. You haven't asked the dice yet. You can see the little dice counter is at 0. So if you want to get out your prophetic bone dice that you can ask a yes/no question of, they will give you an answer, yes or no. So you could get out the dice right now, just throw them on the ground and ask, is Apus the changeling guy that was pretending to be us? And they'd give you a solid yes or no. How do we roll them while walking? You could stop and roll them. Fae react to silver, if I remember from Picnic. That's true, yeah. Fae can't hold iron, is that right? As long as it's cold iron. Like iron that has not been worked in a forge. Stop, drop, and roll. Yeah, stop, drop, and roll. We could stop and roll? You ask so much, man. Nobody's ever seen us roll them? A few people have seen you roll them, but you usually tend to be pretty secretive with it. They did come in a box, yes, they did. Okay, roll the dice, yes or no. Thumbs up, thumbs down in the chat. You have access, if you're new here, you have access to thumbs up and thumbs down emotes if you are following the channel. Oof, yes and no's is hard to pass out here. You are in the midst of things. Ooh, it's definitely not a clear decision here. We're going to put this to a poll so that I can get a yes-no definitively. Ask the dice now. Yes or no. You can always ask the dice later, but later might be dangerous. We still have Pass Without a Trace up for a little while. Yeah, I think it's like an hour's long, right? Okay, how's it looking? Ooh, it's real close between yeses and nos here. But the yeses currently have it. Last few seconds to vote. With 55% of the vote, we decide yes, we are going to ask the dice now. So, you get your dice box out, this lovely Apus dice box. You open it up, you get your bone dice out. I'm gonna show you off that there's some bone-looking dice here, but I'm actually gonna roll real bone dice. That's right, I have some dice that are made of bone that a fan sent through that stay in this little nice bag on the desk here because they're too big to fit in the box. As you can see, they are fucking massive. These dice are made of actual bone from a water buffalo, as far as I remember. Okay, so give myself some room to roll here. What are you asking the dice? What is the question you are asking? How long does Pass Without Trace last? I think it's an hour, and you've definitely been going less than that after the encounter you just had, so Pass Without Trace is still on, I'm pretty sure. Should we ask, is he really a goblin? That way it covers whether he's Fey or Shifter. He could be Fey, he could be Shifter, he could be a demon disguise. So asking, is he really a goblin? It could be a good question. I highly doubt that Apus is Fopus. Even if they are, I doubt that Fey would want to sabotage the mission. No need to be absolutely sure. Ask the question in a language no one else knows. You can, yep. Is Apus just a goblin that has been stealing credit for our exploits? Could be that. Is he an enemy or not? What he appears to be. Is he not what he appears to be? Is he friend or foe? Is he a menace to us or the mission? Just ask, should we kill him? That could be woe with the logic of, but he's more than just that, he's a complicated goblin. Friend or foe, not what he appears to be. Is he just a goblin? Is he a goblin? Is he legitimately a goblin? Or was he born a goblin or something? Or is there anyone in our party pretending to be someone they are not? That's a good one. Is there anyone in our party pretending to be someone they're not? But if he is a goblin and he's just taking our name and exploits and trying to pass himself off as us, then he could still be pretending to be someone he's not, even though he's just a goblin. Is the being we know as Apus the creature who imitated us while we were in the Feywild? That's a pretty solid... That's basically just outlining whether he's Fapus or not, though. Mosh pretends to be someone he's not all the time. That is also true. Mosh does pretend to be not a werefox. At the moment he's not. He's definitely in his hybrid form at the moment because it gives him heightened sense of smell and stuff. And he's behind enemy lines and he's got no one to hide from right now. Is the creature we know as Apus a goblin? Aren't we all pretending to be someone we're not? Okay, let's go with a poll. Is he a goblin? Is the first option. Is anyone pretending to be someone they're not. I can't write all of that. So is anyone pretending? Is he a goblin? Is anyone pretending? Is he the creature? Is he Focus? I'll put. We can obviously ask the different questions in the different wording of all of this stuff. Is he a goblin? Is anyone pretending to be blah blah blah? Is he Focus? Anything else? Leaves the small risk that Focus is actually a goblin with really good disguise kit skills. Does he mean us harm? That's a good question yet. Does he mean us harm? Is the mission in jeopardy or something? Is the mission in jeopardy if we keep him around? Is the mission in jeopardy? We'll do that, I think. All right. That is your 5 options of what to ask the dice. The poll is current and active. If you want it, make sure to refresh. Currently in the lead is, does he mean us harm, and is he a goblin, with neck and neck. This will come down to preferential voting if neither one gets above 50%, so you can just vote for the one that you want, and you don't have to game the system. Nothing got above 50%, so we will drop off the last ones that did not contribute. So that would be both, is anyone pretending to be not who they are, and is this guy the guy who pretended to be us? Is he Focus? Is he the one that we've been calling fake piss? And we'll repeat the question with, is this guy a goblin? Does he mean us harm? And is the mission in jeopardy by him being here? All right. Poll. Somebody made the point that does he mean us harm and is the mission in jeopardy might be too similar, and it's splitting the votes. So is that the case here? Does he mean us harm, and is the mission in jeopardy? Those are 2 different things, but I can see your point. Does he mean us harm, and is the mission in jeopardy by him being here? Is the mission in jeopardy could also just be he doesn't mean us harm, but he is incompetent, and the mission is in jeopardy just by his nature of being here. And does he mean us harm doesn't necessarily mean the mission is in jeopardy. He could be like, I intend to kill this guy, but I also think that the mission is more important, and so I'll wait until the mission is done and then I'll kill him. Like that. So I think those 2 things are different. Is he a liability? I'll combine them into, is he a danger to me or the mission? Okay, poll. Question. Dice, question mark. Alright, the question is, is he a goblin? Real goblin, question mark. Real goblin, these nuts. Real goblin, or is he a danger? And is he a danger to me or the mission? Okay, with 59% of the vote, Apus decides we're going to ask the dice if this guy's a real goblin or not. We tell Minnie to catch up to these guys and keep walking. We'll catch up. We'll be literally less than 30 seconds behind you. I just need to do something real quick. And Minnie's like, you need to take a slash. You're like, sure, why not? Just behind this tree over here. You head over behind a tree, and you get the dice out of the box, and you lean down to a piece of wood, like a stump or a root or somewhere solid that you can drop the dice. And you roll the dice and ask them, is the one that I know as Apus really a goblin? And then I do the things which I do with the dice. Alright, this one, and that one, and this one, and this one, and then this one, and that one, and this one. Okay. How's this one gonna formulate for you? How is this gonna... I don't want to mislead you with my responses here. So I want to make sure that I'm... this is a tough one. Okay. You get the image flashing before your eyes of the first time you saw Mosh transform into a werefox. You get the sound in your mind of the Arcanoloth as he disappeared into invisibility. You get the scent that it feels like when you're around demons, of like the demonic blood. You get a vision again of Luciferic transforming from the squirrel into the green dragon. You get images and flashes, sounds and sensations of things not being as they seem, one after another. You are left with a feeling of woe. What do you want to do with that information? I would say we want to let the others know that he isn't what he seems so that we can all strike at once. Kill him, stab him, weep openly. I'm starting to have a feeling. Roll again. Feeling of woe, mic drop. He's some sort of shifter. Alright, well, we've used the dice once today. You know that the dice give you the correct answer on the first question of the day. You do not know if they are going to give you a correct answer on a second or third or subsequent question of the day. So you could ask the dice a second question or ask them the same question again for clarification or something. But you know that the first answer is correct. The second answer, maybe not. We still don't know if he's a danger to the mission, just because he's not a goblin. He's not a real goblin. But whether that means that he has become a goblin because he was resurrected through magic, whether it means that he's a shapeshifter, whether it means that he's a demon in your midst, whether it means that he is a were-creature. You got a lot of the different you got a lot of the different images and sights and sounds that I was trying to navigate, making sure that it was clear to you that the answer was no, without saying he is one of these things. You saw some non-demon shapeshifting with Luciferic. You saw some perfectly benevolent shapeshifting in your friend Mosh. You got some demonic shapeshifting images. So I wasn't trying to. You didn't ask about whether he was good or bad. You asked whether he was what he was. So you got a bit of everything, saying yes, some good, some bad, some evil, some in between. I was specifically not telling you he is a problem. I'm just telling you he isn't a real goblin, for whatever that means. Just in case we should find out before we proceed, whisper to Minnie and Sylvan, let her inform the rest and surround him quietly, and then we can figure out what's going on. Okay, so it seems like you're all ready to go, like, let's deal with this guy in some way. You call out to Minnie in Sylvan then, you say, hold up, wait there a second. Okay. As you say, as you call out in Sylvan, hold up, wait there a second. All of them turn round, and Minnie and Apus stop, and then the others, Fang and Mosh, take a couple more steps. And what's up? What are we stopping for? We need to keep moving. And you say, I just need to check with something real quick. And you ask Minnie to come to you in Sylvan. You say, Minnie, could we, could I speak to you for a second? And she flies over, and you're like, give me a second here. she gets close enough that you can talk to her quietly without him noticing, without him hearing. And you cover your mouth as well, and you say, I just ascertained that he's not a real goblin. I don't know what he is or what he isn't, whether he's a danger to the mission or not, but I think he's a real goblin. And what's more is, I just told you to stop in Sylvan, and he stopped. So I think he speaks Sylvan too. Maybe he just should. Yeah. Again, it was like maybe he heard you shout, but you did notice that he stopped ahead of the other ones. Watch him be Ungahev. He listens to us as we explain this? No, I just said you pulled Minnie away from them and covered your mouth and like spoke in very hushed tones. If he could hear you, then it's because he's got incredible hearing. Are Fey goblins a thing? Yes, they probably would be. Similar creatures, goblinoids, Fey-like goblinoids, but not Fey goblins necessarily. We just told Minnie? Yeah, you've told Minnie and Mel, who are with you, and then Fang and Mosh are staying with Apus a little bit ahead, confused as to why you're stopping and talking with only one person at a time. We shouldn't intimidate him too much, just ready in action and question him about the truth. Do Fey have incredible hearing? I mean, some might. Archfays probably do. He understood to wait and stop a minute. He seemed like he did, yes. I will tell you that you rolled well. I didn't roll it in the tray because I was rolling a contested check just to check for myself something really quickly. And you rolled well on an insight modifier and noticed that he stopped before the others. Can we ask Minnie to tell Fang and Mosh? Just keep your eyes on him and stay close. All I know is what he isn't and not what he is. Can you tell the others too that what I've just told you? And I'll talk with him a little more. And she says, yes, of course. And she flies back to Fang. And she, loud enough to hear, so that everybody there can hear, says, "Oh, it was nothing. He was asking if I could fly ahead and fly upwards and see if, because Minnie's really good at deception, right? I think. Let me just double check that. Oh no, Minnie's really bad at deception. I must be thinking of somebody else. Maybe I'm thinking of Sneaky. Sneaky was really good at deception. Minnie's really bad at deception. She's got a -1. So she probably knows that about herself after 12 levels of her being an adventurer. So she probably doesn't take it upon herself to be like, I'll just lie about something. So she just keeps her mouth shut, flies over. Fang's like, what was that about? She says, I'll tell you in a second. Let me roll her a deception check to see how well her body language is and stuff. Oh, 2. -1. That's a nat 1. An unnat 1. So she's like, oh, I'll tell you later. And then her eyes like dart to Apus and then back to Fang. And she's like, it's nothing. It's fine. And then you catch up to the group and say, let's keep moving. Apus, come on with me. And you fly. You walk forwards with Apus in tow. And Apus, let's see. Okay. Apus side eyes Minnie, squints a little bit, and then turns to walk with you. Tell us more about your heroic adventures. And he continues with you and says, yeah, I mean, what would you like to know? I've done a lot of things. Would you like to hear about the time that I killed a green dragon? He walks along beside you. Fang, Minnie, and Mosh start to follow along as well, and Minnie goes, hold up a second. And Fang turns, and Apus turns, and she goes, no, you keep walking. You two keep walking. And she's making it pretty obvious with that dirty one. She's not doing a good job of being like, oh, it's Apus, I don't want to hear me telling you things. And you kind of mentally facepalm as you're like, fuck, she's so bad at deception. She's almost as bad as me at deception. And you go, don't worry, we can keep moving. She kind of makes it quite obvious to him, especially with his what would it be, for dirty 20 insight. You pick up on the fact that he picks up on the fact that he's the topic of their discussion right now. And she hangs back to tell them this is the situation. We don't trust Apus right now. Apus is aware that they don't trust him, and Apus addresses that and says,
Look, I know I'm a goblin just like the last guy, but like, I don't mean you ill will. You don't need to be. This mission isn't going to work unless we're like honest with each other, right?
what do you want to do? What do you want to say? Do you want to address it? Do you want to just ask him questions about the dragon or the merry gentleman or anything? Yes, yeah, well said. Honesty is going to be important under this situation. So let's. It's good for team morale. Yeah. Is there anything you think you should be honest about? He says,
What are you implying? What are you getting at?
what's the rest of your story?
Which one? The dragon one?
Do you know much about Mosh? We think maybe he's not who he says he is.
No, you don't.
What do you mean?
You're not suspicious of Mosh, you're suspicious of me.
Well, I mean, do you blame us? You just told us that you're just a goblin like the rest, but I happen to know you're not a goblin.
Look, I don't care what you say. As far as I see it, I paid the rest of what was owed on them. These braces are mine, and you're not getting them back.
And that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. I'll see you in episode 99.
Bye.
Hot damn, Apus's story's getting really exciting, huh? Well, let me know your favourite part of the story so far in the comments below.